Huh. Speller. I can spell things better. I'm the best at spelling. Boom. Boom. No, I don't want to know about Apex Legends and the devs there being idiots. Actually, maybe we'll talk about that. Right, I'm getting my cup of tea, then I'll be back. Then we'll be streaming. Oh. Sit down and make people listen to my problems. Not that they're, mate, these are the most first world problems you've ever heard. Right, let's get my face here. Bam. Oh, I haven't even opened. Oh my god, I am literally the worst. Haven't opened the chat up on my screen. So tell me if my volume levels are alright, because what I've done is I've set my gain up quite high so that my microphone doesn't cut out. But it might be too high. It might be rip ears. Ah! And if I scream at the microphone, you are going to implode. So bear that in mind. I'm quite shiny today. Look how I don't know why I'm wearing the head. Look how shiny my head is. It's beautiful. What was I doing? I was trying to open up my chat program. I am gonna buy so many. Someone send me money.
This is a message.
Thanks, Bobcore. You sent me money first last time as well. This time I'm on the ball though. Some people have voiced that I'm on the balls. No, wait. No? Let me... Huh. We need to rephrase this. Thanks, Bobcore. Thanks for the money. I love your face. You're appreciated. What? Where is... Why can't I see this? Like... Oh. Re-stream chat. Perfect. Now I can see things. Right, I've just seen an email. You've been alerted to potentially fraudulent activity on your account. It's not. It's a media email talking to me about my credit score. It's not actually an alert. How's everyone doing today? You good? You're doing all right. I'm gonna go check out the chat that I missed briefly, and then we'll go over. Why is the word shit being filtered out? I have to manually approve the word shit. Do I? But feel free, we can, so if you want to ask a question about anything, put question in brackets. I don't typically sort of like play anything off the cards with chatting. Why? Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. Current keyframes are not being sent often enough, which will cause buffering. The current keyframe frequency is 8.3 seconds. Is it though? Hopefully that, I don't know. Maybe Hello Vulcan Cannon. How's it going? Have I broken stuff? Is it alright? Who knows? Hopefully that's okay. Hopefully you're not buffering. But who knows? Thank you very much, Vulcan Cannon, for the thing, whatever there was, the resub. Thank you. 19 months. Oh my god. What else we got here? Mate, I've upped my gain, so you can hear my click clacking now. So, yeah, the one of the things I want to talk about today in a bit more detail, or at least sort of mixture of theorycraft and chat to people here, is what do we think the Aegis project that's going to be, well, we assume it's going to be announced to everyone at some point, hopefully next weekend, but there's an Aegis Concierge event in Frankfurt that the tickets sold out almost immediately, I believe. So Concierge backers only. They're going to Frankfurt, they're having dinner with Chris Roberts and some key members of staff. It will be like an FAQ and chatty side of thing, and they're unveiling a new Aegis project, which we assume is going to be a new ship, and lots of people are assuming is going to be a capital ship, so it's rumoured. CIG are not going to Gamescom to have a stall there. They are doing some bar citizens around Gamescom. They have a presence there, like devs walking around, you know, and experiencing gaming culture, because they're real people too. So they'll have some sort of light presence there, but not a proper one, not a proper stall there. Question 3.5.x, talk to me. What? 3.6.x. 3.6.x. Jurg last. I don't know. Jurg. I don't know how to say your name, Mr. Last. Yeah, so we're waiting on 3.6.x, still the 3.6 interim patch. I literally have a video that's going to go live at 6 PM today on it, talking about when we might see it, which I do think will be towards the end of this month. and then talking more about roadmaps, delays, and CIG's policy on that. What else have we got here? I played Hunt Showdown a few weeks ago, actually. I was quite enjoying it. But at the moment, when I'm not playing Star Citizen type stuff, it's Apex Legends, it's Overwatch. They're mostly what I've been playing. I should be, and Teamfight Tactics on, the thingamajiggamabob. League of Legends, which I've never played League of Legends before. I watched a couple of games of it. I hate it. But Teamfight Tactics, really like. I really like card games. I really like the idea of MOBAs. Like Dota 2, played a load of Dota 2. Original Dota, Warcraft 3 mods, played absolute butts tons of. But card games. So I want a good card game. Like, I really, really enjoyed Artifact. But the rest of the world didn't, so... Censored my name, but you can't silence me. Look at all the big Aegis... Look, we all know the big Aegis announcement is going to be size 6 torpedoes in my damn Harbinger. Sorry to spoil it for everyone. Thanks, bud. You really want those torpedoes, don't you? I promise, as soon as they are available, I will tell you. Big torpedoes are available. I will talk to you all about it, shite. I'll do a specific video firing them at things. Do people... Okay. Do people want to see videos on, like, testing firing big torpedoes and blowing things up? Or do you want more informative things, or do you want sort of, like, real gameplay as it evolves? I'm sort of, like, interested to know what people want. Bored ASMR, that's what, basically, the pre-stream is me just talking gently into the mic. I don't know if people would like that or not. I want the Titan suits as well. Dude paid $10 for him to say that. Damn, I want to be a streamer. Mock Crew, I mean, a man cannot live on $10 per stream alone. I think that you need to get to a level where you can actually support the community, like, you have a community that wants to support you before you can sort of, like, do streams and get paid just to turn up and go, hey, what I do on Mondays and Fridays for my streams. I go, hey, and talk to people and then get ideas for videos and go through all the sort of, like, ideas that other people have given me, which is very, very, very appreciated. It also gives me a good sort of, like, pulse on what the community wants. Right, so, what have we got? Yes, I fucking love what I do. Very sweary today, I do apologise. Explosions are nice, quick videos. That's true. Do you consider these mid-patches like 3.6.1 a breach of the quarterly schedule, and if so, is that a problem? Sort of. It's foible. Which is interesting you say that, because I did bring it up quite a few times in the video that's coming out in a bit. So for me, the 3.6.1 patch, that's fine. 3.6.1, that's a little bug fixy patch. Great. The 3.6.x interim patch, however, is a bit weird, because they sort of like, they're breaking features off a dev branch and saying, we're going to release an interim patch. But that goes sort of against their development policy of, if it's not ready, then they won't put it in. They should push it back to the next major release. Having an interim patch delays the next major patch, potentially, because they have to put all the goodness, put all the iteration and all the bug fixes that they made in 3.6 in its PTU and Evocati phase, and all of its stuff going up to live, back into the main dev branch, and then break off that stuff before putting it back into the dev branch again, before then making the next major patch. Do you see what I mean? So they have to keep on breaking these things off. Now, either that slows down progress on 3.7, because they either haven't brought all the stuff from 3.6 back into the dev branch yet, and they're still working on 3.6 as a branch, getting the 890 jump out or whatever, or it slows it down because they've reabsorbed all that stuff and then are breaking it off again for a 3.6.x patch. So however you look at it, it slows it down. So it's a problem in that regard, and you could criticize it. CIG need to take a stance on it of, yes, we're just going to stick to, well, they don't need to, but they should, in my opinion, come out and say, look, we're going to stick to the date-driven release schedules, or no, you're just going to have to deal with the way we do development. But they need to be more firm on it, so that we can either work out what exactly we're going to see from it. Like, are we going to get date-driven release schedules, or are we going to have constant delays? Are delays very likely for each patch now for live? Are they just sort of like saying, oh, this is a rough sort of like release schedule, because they was like, well, we're gonna definitely release these dates now. So they just need to communicate a bit more. You felt the whisper of the resonate through your head. Nice. I don't want. Oh, the dude that does the explosions! Oh, I don't know how to say his Camerals. I know what you're doing, Camerals thing, because he's a small channel and should probably get the attention, given how much work he puts into it. Your gameplay stuff is usually good too. I mean, I don't think my gameplay stuff is good, particularly Ash. I am very low effort with stuff that I do on my channel. It's lots of research and reading and playing, but it's not much like effort when it comes to editing or whatever. It's very raw, and I quite like that. I'm getting obviously an editor to put a bit more class into my videos, so hopefully that's a thing that will happen. Spaceships. Do you like that? I love you, Foible, by the way. Thank you very much for the resub, or just the sub with your Prime. Oh, thank you. Remember, if you haven't if you've got Amazon Prime and you haven't given away your free sub yet, I mean, there's always a BoredGamer. I'm just saying. The Aegis will be Titan suits on a capital ship? Question mark. Aren't the Titan suits? Don't they already have a manufacturer? I can't remember now. I mean, if it's Aegis Titan suits, that would be quality. I would actually be happier with that than a capital ship. The Avenger Titan is a ship, so CIG are not great with naming schemes, it seems. But I'm expecting the Aegis announcement for the ship, the project, to be a capital ship of some description. Well, some people are thinking it's going to be competing directly with the Kraken, so it will be some sort of civilian transport ship. I think it might just be your phone that's frozen. Although I am getting a warning on my thing that there's bad keyframes. The worst keyframes. So I apologise if you are getting lag or delay or whatever. Who's fighting it in chat? Amir and Benji, what are you fighting about? Be nice. I see. My father backed in 2012. And Sue backed before the other. I see. Do you think progress would be quicker with 3 releases per year instead of 4? Yes. Progress would be quicker if they didn't have to do any releases a year. Like the way they do it, development. It basically generates them a lot of money in the short term for continued development. Longer term, they would be better not doing releases a year at all, and just developing the game and getting it out quicker, because it should get the game out a lot quicker. Although you'd have elements of the game that would look very different when without this sort of like development cycle, because they are rapidly iterated on in between the sort of like PTU and live builds, and then more during the live builds. So you get a lot more iteration, you get a lot more sort of like free QA testers, but you get a slower development cycle because of that. And they make money in the short term from hype and ship sales and that sort of stuff. However, once they've actually got a product to release, that's when they make most of their money. And that's what CIG have been betting on all along. But you wouldn't have a game made to this scale and scope from a new studio if they hadn't have done it in this way. So, yeah, it would definitely be out quicker. Would it be better? Don't know. We don't have enough data to know that. I'd absolutely love it if the Aegis announcement is that they've got Titan suits. That they're concept sale Titan suits, or Titan suits straight to live, or anything like that. What if it's a capsized mech suit? Oh my god, don't even joke. Do you think a feature or twice yearly patch release would give more feature development time and less wasted pushing patches and bug fixes? Yeah, I do. I mean, it's going to be slightly anecdotal, but I mean, if you think about it, you look at it, you can see that they do spend a lot more time than they should, or they could, polishing patches that are alpha patches, which don't need polish or shouldn't be polished because, you know, they're alpha, and then they're released and marketed as like, oh, the next big update. It's still alpha. It's going to be broken and rough and rocky, and the sort of like way they market those new alphas shoots themselves in the foot a lot of the time because they're like, oh, look at the new stuff that you can do. Oh, but bounty hunting's broken. So what? Wait, what? I don't understand why it's so hard to accept that the progress is unacceptable. I mean, I don't think it's unacceptable. I mean, it's literally acceptable. It's slow. It's annoying. It's the major problem with Star Citizen now is the slow development, and it is slow development. I think that they need to, at CitizenCon, show us a lot of cool stuff, and they need to start marketing Squadron 42 and give us a hard release date. Like, some of the stuff I've been talking about recently is, yeah, I think we'll see a Squadron 42 release date at CitizenCon, but that's because they need to start doing stuff like that. Squadron 42 is shown as being beta, or at least feature complete, Q2 2020. Yeah, that might get pushed back a quarter or two, but that's a roadmap to completion, and they can't keep on delaying that. So they're going to start to need to get a product out. Technically, I've subbed on and off for years. I love you, Foible. You're the best. At least you're top tier. There's a bit of BoredGamer in all of us. I deny those allegations. All of them. I mean, when I have to find a video about how to do a mission, I watch your stuff for it. It's casual, but it's still informative and entertaining. And you're classy. You have class. Thanks, Ash. I appreciate that. That's I would say empty platitudes, but that's just making me feel better. That's ego boosting, and that is appreciated. I lost the ability to words. I was so fanboying over myself. So thank you very much appreciated. I do appreciate the love. Yeah, so there is going to be a concerted difference on my channel once we have more stable mechanics and meta. I do want to do quick, snappy guides. Like, genuinely, I want to be able to do noobify small videos, like a minute or two, explaining how to do something. This is how you do this mission, this is how you do this. Oh, what's a frequently asked question? Bam, this is how you do this. This is where you go to get this thing, or this item. This is where these new things are. Oh no, what have I done? That's good. The cheapest of all the Titan suits, the Drake Titan suit. Civilian transport could be the Hercules. Yeah, so the thing is that when we talk about civilian carriers, I'm talking more about large-scale ones like the Kraken. What are your thoughts about the lack of progress on 3.7's roadmap? Are you concerned, or is there a reason for it? I don't think there's that much of a lack of work on it. They just haven't really been sharing much. If there is a lack of work, then it's probably down to the 3.6. Why am I over here? Come here. Come here, you. Put you down here where you belong. We've got 3.7. I think they need to update a lot of this. So they've got like stuff that says scheduled, but we know they've been working on it. And we know they've been working on the glass visor improvements and the HUD improvements, but it says scheduled. We know it's not scheduled. We know it's been at least working on it. When it comes down to tasks complete as well, this is one of the things that annoys me about the roadmap, but I'd rather have it than not have it, I suppose. More information is always better. Pretty much 28 tasks of 57 tasks complete. We don't know the size of the remaining tasks. And as I talk to some devs about, a single task can be the completion of a prop. the completion, the removal of a single bug, a lighting pass on a single corridor or room. But it can also be as massive as bringing all the stuff together and giving it a full a burn test or whatever. Or the lighting of an entire ship, so like a capital ship. Both one task and many tasks for each individual room. The rest stop station interiors, we know that's got a load of work. That's only got 4 more tasks to complete. We know that's pretty good. Like shopkeeper improvements, we know they've been working on shopkeeper improvements, but it says scheduled. So I think there is a bit of a disconnect in them updating the roadmap. That's one of my major problems with it. Civilian improvements, we know they've been working on those along with bartender improvements. There's been loads of new animations added and things like that. What else have we got? Refueling, fuel scooping, that's an interesting one because I'm not entirely sure what it's going to do beyond just having better stats of working out how you regenerate fuel when you're flying through space. Just, I want them to give us a bit more detail on how fuel's going to work, how it's going to be mined, all the different types of fuel there are going to be, because they've talked about batteries powering cars briefly and things like that, and that vehicles will also need fuel and fuel will run out. What else we got here? Power system improvements, PvP bounties. I mean, we heard Luke Presley talk about testing some of this recently as well. Physical inventories, I mean, we know they've been working on those to some degree. And again, we don't know how many tasks there are to do. But I think it's more that they haven't actually updated this accurately for some reason. I'm actually quite looking forward to the missile launcher and the grenade launcher. Procedural Asteroids V2, if you read from the roadmap, not the roadmap, the monthly report, they talk about the new procedural tech on them working on asteroid, the V2 asteroid stuff, which is over 30% complete or something. And they talk about the improvements they've got to the procedural tech and the terrain stuff and shadows and all that sort of thing. So we know that these stuff has been worked on and tasks have been completed on them. They're just saying scheduled still. So they need to update the roadmap more accurately, and they need to talk about this stuff at the beginning, probably of each Star Citizen Live, or Star Citizen Live would probably be the best place to do it. Say, look, we've made progress on these things, bam, 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 and this is what is potentially getting moved back, and this stuff might get moved forward, and this is a breakdown of some of the tasks for these things. You could do it inside Star Citizen, but Star Citizen Live would be the most accurate thing to do because it would be from that week, whereas Inside Star Citizen might be filmed a while before. But yeah, that's just my opinion and all that. Yeah, the 3.7 roadmap and the roadmap at the moment is not particularly accurate. I think it's because they might be focusing more on 3.6.x, and once that gets done, we'll see this update with, oh, lots of things have started. Because, for example, all of these moons of Microtech suddenly went from scheduled to 6 tasks completed, all of them, on Friday. So, roadmap not as accurate as I'd like it to be. Sodwhite, I think the Aegis Project isn't a capital ship at all, but a wheeled thing. Badlands Nation suggested a near brand-wide buck. What? UK? What? You think it's a wheeled vehicle of some sort? It could be. It's very possible that it could be a ground vehicle. How I use Game Glass on Shadow. I have not attempted to use Game Glass on Shadow, so I don't know. I will find out, and I will find a way of doing it. Thank you very much, Cam. I hadn't even thought about combining the two, but of course some people would. Game Glass on Shadow. I suspect you'd be able to do it somehow. Yeah, you should be able to do it, because you could just... the inputs would just go straight to your Shadow PC. You should be able to do it. I'll have to look at it and see if there's too much latency or something like that. Yay? Yay indeed. Yeah. My dream in life is honestly being able to watch your stream and play Star Citizen at the same time without my PC crashing. Good luck! But then I wouldn't be able to see your shiny head, so whatever. Thank you very much, Ash. Ashki. Why do people have names that aren't just numbers? Do you think people are majorly underestimating how much capital ships are going to be to run in operating costs, crew, fuel, maintenance, as far as a UEC sink? Yeah, so if you run them inefficiently, they're going to be a massive UEC sink. There might be missions which you can potentially make a huge amount of money from if you run them correctly with the correct sort of stuff. But yeah, capital ships, almost certainly going to be a big crew sink, a UEC sink, a money sink. But we don't 100% know because we haven't got the mechanics yet to understand what sort of costs they're going to be in game for insurance, for crew, for fuel, for general maintenance, for do we have to pay for food stores and things like that as well? And we don't have the capital ships either, so we don't know. But yeah, it's expected that they'll be expensive to run. Something you'd want to run with an org, like capital ships in real life, for like navy ships. They are something that only a country could own. And they are massive money sinks. The military is a massive money sink with that sort of thing. They're not going to make you any money, are they? They're there to protect your assets. You have any worry CIG might monetize the higher level hired NPC for ships? Oh, you're worried that for NPC crew, they might monetize NPC crew. No, I almost certainly wouldn't expect that. You might see things like an NPC crewman given as a subscriber perk. It wouldn't be like the best one you could get. It wouldn't be a pay-to-win one, but it might be an interesting one or a variation or a skin you could put on your crew or something like that. No, I expect that most of that stuff would be in-game. And they can't have those sort of like extreme pay-to-win nickel and dime elements. They need to move away from stuff like that. They can sell ships, yeah, because they plan to sell currency all along. So the ships, it's part of the development cycle and process. As long as they don't keep on releasing better and better versions of ships that you're like, well, now this is better than the Super Hornet and the Sabre. Oh yeah, it's the similar size and it's the same sort of like class and everything as the Sabre, but it's more expensive, IRL and better. They can't do stuff like that because that would be pay to win in the worst possible way. There's them monetizing things in general is something that we should be vigilant of. I don't think they would, but vigilant of and comment on as and when. The turnaround for CIG responding to the community is absolutely superb. Now, anyway. Now you've upgraded your GPU, when will you be upgrading your webcam? Do you need me to upgrade my webcam? Shall I just get a better webcam? Can anyone recommend a better webcam? I'll get a good one. I'll buy an expensive webcam for the streams and for videos. Happy to do that. Battlefield upgrade kits, the Bucks, they're no longer sold, but they will still be supported in game for the ones for the Vanguards. They are basically just a collection of components and modules to convert your Vanguard into a different type of Vanguard or to give it some of the equipment. Why is pad ramming a bannable offense? It's not. It's going to be handled with the law system in-game. You keep on ramming people on the pad or do it like a couple of times, there'll be strict penalties, there'll be financial penalty from in-game, there'll be criminal penalties, things like that. Amir, you don't understand what freedom of speech is if you're screaming freedom of speech. It's something that you have in America. Typically, we have freedom of expression in the UK, but, you know, it's terrifying in the UK doing anything. Freedom of speech is mainly for government intervention, preventing you talking, preventing you from some sort of like... You can believe what you want to believe and you can talk about that. And you can talk and say what you want to an extent, without the government getting involved, without the police getting involved. But if you, again, go to a crowded cinema and the sort of like example that's always given and shout fire, that would still get you in trouble and you'd get arrested because people would be harmed from you lying. You can't, like, commit fraud. You can't lie to beyond the extent that could cause people to hurt themselves. You can't incite violence, things like that. But freedom of speech, you can't come on, like, someone's Discord and say freedom of speech. They can ban you. They're private platforms. They don't, it's not the same thing. I mean, a board censored my name, so things can happen. What? No, I'm not censoring your name. I think the internet might be censoring your name. Will there be an origin ship between the small, what the 85X which is in the 85X and the 300i and the large 600i? There could be. There's supposed to be an Origin 200 series. At least it's been mentioned previously, so we could see a more utility versioned 300 Origin ship, maybe, in the future. Yeah, Citizen Shenanigans. I vaguely remember the Titan suit manufacturers being Gollum as well. Or at least that rings a bell. I'd honestly be happy if they stopped making so many Aegis ships. Maybe it'll be a ground vehicle. It's a possibility. I'm hoping that we see either an Aegis capital ship, though, because I like capital ships, or like maybe like a drone corvette. That's what I'd like to see, a drone-focused combat ship. I actually used your video for the ArcCorp drug run mission just 2 days ago. Unfortunately, the turrets on the ground couldn't be targeted, and they killed me. Oh, and the Devil TV, I'm sorry. That is lame. So in those cases, well, you can't shoot the if you can't shoot the turrets or destroy them. I thought they were destroyable now. If for some reason they're indestructible, land behind some cover. They won't shoot you when you're on the ground, when you're running around. With physical inventory coming next patch, will we see our gear more in lockers or on weapons racks? Do you think we'll be able to customize the look of our gear to a greater degree in the future? Yes, there'll be custom skins and stuff for weapons and stuff like that. That's one of the things they definitely want to do. And armor, to an extent anyway. There's going to be variants at the very least, and skins. 3.7 should also come with physical inventories, the ability to store things in different places. So you'll have like storage in your habs, storage in your ships, the weapons racks, and the sort of like cupboards should be functional to some degree. That is the idea of it. I can't even repeat that shenanigans. How far am I behind? I'm about 13 minutes behind in chat, which is pretty good for me. When are we getting a BoredCon complete with women dancers? I don't think we'll do... If I get a huge amount of traction on my YouTube channel and I get a huge community, we do a board game conference in the future. Maybe I'll just turn up to related Star Citizen cons and like Gamescom and things like that in the future, and you know, hang around with people for the days. That's probably a better way of doing it. I understand the scale of Star Citizen is planned to be what 110 Star Systems so far. They've got 120 planned. Last time we checked. Do you think they'll expand to Elite Dangerous scale? No, I don't. It's possible that in the future, like 10 years down the line or something, they might go, well, actually, we're opening the Procedural Tech up so that it's got so good now we can generate whole new systems, so that just on the fly. So maybe they'd open up some stuff like that. But again, that's very, very sort of like theory crafty. Do you think it's silly that they waste time and manpower on things like better bartender animations at this point? It depends what it's to do with. So the bartender animations might be being used also for Squadron 42, and they generally are doing a animation. The animation teams there are sort of like getting the social AI up to scratch. So I don't know. It depends to what extent. When do you think we'll get the next episode of Pillow Talk? That's a good question. So Pillow Talk is, or Pillar Talk, as it's actually known. So you maybe say Pillow Talk now, Games Cafe. Pillar Talk is the once a quarter show they do, where they talk more about the next major patch that's coming out in a lot more detail, trials and tribulations, features that they're excited about, all that sort of stuff. So we've had one for 3.6, and the next one will be for 3.7. I don't know when, probably sometime during the PTU phase. So towards the end of September? What do you think in 3.6.1 Black Market? Is it in? Nobody saw it? Yeah, so the Black Market's sort of there. So the idea is that some terminals will accept the narcotics and stolen goods and some of those mission items and some of the prohibited items. There's the scrapyards that they're in, but the Black Market's very bare bones at the moment. Eventually you'll be able to sell ships there, is the idea. Stolen ships and stuff like that. So... and it's part of the lore system, I suppose, as well. It's in, but very, very sort of like, you know, early stage. Wouldn't you run the Game Glass EXE on the local machine, which would pass along the key presses to the Shadow PC? That's what I think, but I haven't actually tried. In which case, it would only work if you are on a PC streaming Shadow, not Android, etc. Yeah, you wouldn't run Shadow on your phone and then run Game Glass from your Shadow phone. You'd run it from the phone, normally, the Game Glass, connect it to your PC, and then when you're streaming Shadow on that PC, it should recognise the inputs when you're playing Star Citizen from Game Glass, because it's just a key press. I believe. Thank you very much, Sheriff Beck. I appreciate the raid. You star. Thank you very much. Lucky Charms! Board, here is some bread money for a new ship. Oh, yes! Good. We're going to start fundraising for the new ship, for my channel, for content. I will actually put some... I do put some money by it every month anyway, for new ships and stuff, for content. Very much appreciated. Oh, you stars! I love your faces. Do you know if objects that fall out of orbit are... actually procedurally generated objects from around the planet, or will falling meteorites be generated at the edge of atmosphere? We don't know. There's supposed to be... the idea is that the servers will be able to track all objects of different levels of importance to some extent. So you could potentially have a ship that gets destroyed while in orbit crash onto the planet, maybe, eventually. But I suspect they'll have an importance system, so they'll go, well, this ship will degrade over 24 hours if it's not interacted with. This hula doll that you've left in the middle of the desert will degrade over 36 hours if not interacted with. Does that mean the Lightning is pay to win? So, buying any Star Citizen ship is pay to win in some respect. You're paying for an advantage, you're paying for getting something that someone else that hasn't paid, you get it before them, effectively. So it is pay to win in that regard. It doesn't mean that Star Citizen is going to be a bad game, and it doesn't mean that pay to win is going to be out of control, or prevent people from enjoying the game, playing the game, and then competing with you eventually. It does mean that in a one-on-one fight, if I'm in my Aurora, and you're in your F8 Lightning, on day one, and for some reason we're fighting in... It wouldn't be lawful space. We'd have to go out into the edges of not lawful space and then fight. You would win, probably, in your F8 Lightning. What about rep as a subscriber Concierge perk? How butthurt would the Pitchfork and Torch crowd get, or a rep percentage booster? I don't want sort of like... Okay. So, more things that save you time is a slippery slope. When you're talking about boosters, when you're talking about rep gain and stuff like that, it's a slippery slope for monetization. Because that's the monetization perks that people buy the most. And then you get loot boxes, and then you get all that sort of fucking bullshit. Well, maybe not, but... It's a slippery slope from lots of time-saving measures. I'm okay with them selling ships, or concepts. I'm okay with them selling the in-game currency to an extent. I also have a Brio. That's what's in front of me now. This isn't a planet. This is Gaini, which is 1A. It's a moon of Odin 1, which is no longer a planet. So I suppose it's a rogue satellite technically now, because Odin 1 exploded and has become a coil. It's in the Squadron 42 vertical slice, and it's in the Odin system. ABG, do you think it's worth getting a webcam now with FOIP in mind, or should I wait until the game's further on? If you want to use FOIP in game now, then potentially pick up yourself up a C920 or something like that from Logitech. You could wait until like a Prime Day sale. You can get them pretty cheap then, or get one on eBay, like $30 to $40 sort of thing. Talking about pay to win, my friend said, but isn't the fact you can buy the most expensive ships right now not pay to win? And I had no solid answer to that. Yeah, it is pay to win in some regard. It gives you an advantage. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be out of control pay to win. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a broken game because of that. But Warframe does stuff like that. Eve does stuff like that. They're all models that work. Star Citizen wouldn't be funded without it the way it sort of like has been funded. And there's sort of like monetization model, but it needs to be vigilant. There needs to be some levels of vigilance from the community to make sure that doesn't get out of control. Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. You buy a Cabra ship, that's a money sink. That's pay to lose. Let's bear that in mind. You need a team to run it. It's pay to win only in regard to one-on-ones with ships, in my opinion. Hey Board, love your face. Did you say that bucks were no longer being supported or sold? CIG is still implementing a modular system, right? Yes, CIG is still implementing a modular system. The Battlefield upgrade kits that were sold with the Vanguards, I don't believe they're going to sell anything similar. Well, they might sell something similar again, but they're not going to be selling Battlefield upgrade kits again or making those Battlefield upgrade kits available again. However, the ones that were sold are going to be treated as a collection of components that you can then outfit your rest of your Vanguards with. The central module, the central room in the Vanguard is now modular, as far as I'm aware, and all of the Vanguard's hulls are pretty similar, as in internally at least. So just bear that in mind. Modularity is coming. I suspect it's something we'll see a lot of next year. Magic Johnson is a beautiful name.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Interesting to know. Some guys were complaining about getting pad rams, so they were saying that they got them banned. I don't believe that's the thing that's happened. I mean, if they were being explicitly, you know, offensive and hunting the people down from server to server to server, maybe. I haven't heard anything like that. I would, rather than troll anyone, even if they've really annoyed me, prefer to let it go. Let it go, do your own fucking thing. Just go, yeah, don't agree with you. I try to act, not professionally, but I try to respect everyone's point of view, even if it's vastly different to mine. And if people are being dicks, I will try and rise above it. Try to rise above it. Try. Being the operative high word there. How do you see exploration working? Finding new jump points, etc. Will explorers need to travel 10 hours on thrusters, maybe? Find something in dead space. I think it's going to be a mixture of things. So with exploration, I suspect there'll be lots of random encounters. I suspect there'll be lots of scanning and scanning things down, and then following sort of like trails of things that you scanned, going from place to place to place to place to place to place. Go, oh, I found a new interesting point of interest because I was been scanning down lots of different things. I suspect it will be lots of different missions associated with that, but I very much doubt it's going to be 10 hours on conventional thrusters. It's going to be a lot more scanny, finding points of interest, following trails, yeah, potentially mapping data, sort of like selling info and data on things that you've discovered, like asteroid fields and potentially a new jump point. So if a woman dances at some inevitable future BoredGon, will it be just you dressed as a Japanese schoolgirl? Yeah, me and DC will be dressed up as Japanese schoolgirls. Why not? Why does FTR keep calling out on his videos? Is he hating on you or something? He doesn't really call me out on videos. Occasionally he'll say, BoredGamer is this or whatever, and that's fine. He can have his own opinion. I think I'm pretty reasonable when it comes to Star Citizen. I cover the news. He correctly identifies, something that I've always said, is that I run a Star Citizen channel, and I do this full time. So I'm financially incentivized to make content on Star Citizen or whatever. It doesn't. I'm not employed by CIG. I don't need to be positive about that. In fact, I'd make a lot more money, I'm pretty sure, by doing lots of other things that aren't Star Citizen. But I enjoy what I do, so I do Star Citizen content, and I'm very much supported by my channel. But typically he doesn't call me out. I think he mentioned me once or twice in his latest video, which is fine. I mean, he's allowed to think what he wants. He's allowed to do what he wants to an extent, and that's all cool. I don't have to agree with him, and I don't agree with his narrative. He occasionally brings up good points, but it's always the same point, and it's always the same thing. I know what his video is going to say and exactly what process he's going to go through before I watch it, and that's not something that I enjoy. I always think that you should have a sort of like more dynamic way of seeing things, in my opinion. So know that you aren't always right. Be willing to change, be willing to respect other people's points of view, and sometimes research them and go, actually, that guy had quite a good point. Let's have a look at that. Even the man that should not be named, apparently, he brought up some good points about how do you keep Kickstarter projects, how do you hold them accountable. Yeah, how do you hold them accountable? You should hold them accountable. Has Star Citizen's project blown vastly out of control? Well, yeah, I mean, the scale of it has changed massively. And that's why I'm interested in it, because of its scale change. But its original backers, they might not be so happy, and they might want it a game in 2014. So there's some things that people bring up that's truly reasonable, and a lot more stuff that's less and less reasonable, in my opinion, going on from day to day. However, if you want to criticise Star Citizen for current potential mismanagement, the delays in the roadmap schedule, that sort of stuff. But don't make up random narratives or always talk about the past. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty happy with how Star Citizen's progressing. It's really fucking slow, but I've sort of like already been aware of that. I enjoy Star Citizen for the project, not just the game. The game at the moment I don't play all the time. I probably play maybe 10 hours a week of actual playing Star Citizen. A lot more researching and reading other people's stuff and watching other people's videos. I play a load of Apex Legends, Teamfight Tactics, Overwatch. I haven't actually played. I've got a Valve Index. Love VR. There's not enough really to play on that at the moment. Haven't played No Man's Sky in VR yet, and hopefully that the Index is supported well, and I'll try that out at some point. What's the date of CitizenCon? The 23rd of November. Do you think they will allow streaming services to stream in our ships? Maybe using HUDs or something, Spotify and YouTube? Potentially. I'm not sure what legal things are there, but they've got the render text to tech. They want to have things for people to do on MFDs and on the Mobiglass, so potentially. Do you think they will have star systems in place for Operation Pitchfork before Star Citizen launches? I'd expect so. I'd hope to see more star systems next year. I don't think there's a problem with listening and watching other people's videos, even if you don't like them, even if you don't agree with them. It's fine to have your opinions and ideas challenged. It's fine. Do you think they will open up some custom building functionality where the community will be allowed to generate assets and play with the procedural tech to create things for the game? That's what I was hoping that they do to start with. Like, I would have preferred Star Citizen to be in a much rawer state of sort of like, I don't need these polished alphas. I want to be able to spawn things with my console commands. I want to be able to jump in the game in a sandbox. Great if I can get multiplayer in that as well. And spawn stuff and spawn missions and spawn planets and things. Give me, like, dev control. That's the sort of stuff I want. But you must remember me once the internet has erased me from the annals of history. Alex Jones and now me. Who's next? Keanu Reeves? You're breathtaking. Please remember size 6 torpedoes. Please. Thanks again, bud. I will try to remember. Shy, I love you. You know you're loved. And George Bennett, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. When will we see the 3.6.x patch? I've literally got a video going out in about 25 minutes talking about where's my 890 jump, delays to the roadmap sort of like priorities and things, and where is that 3.6.x patch. But I'm expecting to see it for the end of the month, but I'm not expecting to see much more in the way of interim patches after this one. Do you think gimbals are the future, or will fixed make a comeback? I think there needs to be balanced. I think that I would like to see, at the top end of dogfighting, that fixed weapons is the best thing for a skilled single-seater dogfighter to use. That's what I'd like to see, the balance for that.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Where's my 890 jump?
I know, Flymo! That's literally the name of the video that's coming out in a minute. Thank you very much for the Prime sub. Very much appreciated. Any word on selling and upgrading my ships in-game? We know we're going to be able to do that at some point, okay? I'm not sure when that's going to be in. They might wait until we actually have full persistence and are using UEC before they allow you to sell ships and to upgrade ships in-game. You can obviously buy ships in-game now. You should be able to rent ships in 3.6.x. 3.6.2, fuck it, let's call it that. I was trying to think about what they could do to revamp PvP and get a genuine black market hub, and so I was thinking they should add a remote, unmarked location for black market dealings, no armistice, and black market goods sell for maybe like a 10 to 15% increased profit there. Maybe, what I want to see is that when you discover these labs, these outposts or whatever, I either want to be able to have them permanently be travelable to them again, or be able to save their location manually so I can travel to them. Bam, nice, done. Do you think they can really do 100 systems or even more? And I'm not very well informed, but since there isn't a second one in game yet, do you think we'll settle for like 30 or so? Yeah, so I think in the medium-term future for the game, there will probably be like 20 to 30 systems at live when they actually put the game live. And then they'll keep on working on more systems for the next, 5 years after that. That would be my expectation. However, the procedural tech genuinely does allow them to much more rapidly build out lots of systems, and potentially even entirely procedurally made systems in the future as well. And in fact, if they have systems that haven't been explored before, they can just go, we can run them entirely procedurally, because we don't have to have weird alien cities there that have landing zones. We can just have, ruins and things. Do you think planking will ever become popular again? I'm hoping they make an emote for planking in game. And also no. You can buy the most expensive ship in game right now. You can beat it with an arrow with overclocked overclocked attritions. Its pay to win ability is very dependent on the crew size and current meta, and that is true. How crazy do you think the first day of Star Citizen will be as all the orgs rush to find a Bengal in the verse? I think it will be sort of... Yeah, I mean, day one of a release for Star Citizen will be crazy. But I think that the game will be fully persistent before then. Before release. You used to get banned from PTU only for pad ramming and blocking. Yes, so if you did that in Eva Cardi build or during certain PTU phase bits, yeah, you probably would get kicked out of the PTU. What capital ships do you think will be sold this year? For the sale, towards... around the 23rd of November, I think we'll see Javelins, a small amount, maybe up to 200. Idrises, a small amount, maybe up to like 500. Maybe a little bit more, up to 1,000 maybe. Probably less than that, probably like up to 500, 400 sort of thing. The Kraken, all the previous ships pretty much will go on sale. Event Horizon style issues travelling through jump points, yay or nay? Nay, probably. There might be some lore stories about it. There might be some danger of mapping new jump points or gameplay associated with it. I'm an unpaid shill. Shit. It's a better way of describing me, I suppose. It's a stupid shill. It doesn't get paid. At this stage, do you think Squadron 42 is the only focus of funding? No. What? What time spent on expanding the Star Citizen alpha and tech demo just to keep funding rolling in? What? Squadron 42 work directly improves Star Citizen. I think Squadron 42 is more of a focus for the studios at the moment, but I mean that directly helps Star Citizen, and then when they actually start selling a product, they'll make a fuck ton of money. Is Squadron 42 going to be open world? No, it's not going to be open world. It's going to be large scale world, but it's not going to be open world. You're in the military. A pint and a packet of crisps. Thank you very much, Andrew Brown. I appreciate the money. Don't know why I did a weird face. I can't speak today. I've had too much caffeine. I think that's what it is. Will CIG make map flags and map note be available with some kind of GPS system? It's interesting you say that, because that's the sort of functionality that my radar are building into their weather app that actually has Star Citizen cross-use with. So they actually allow you to mark locations on their the moons in-game now. You should have ways of saving coordinates, travelling there, sharing those coordinates in the future, yeah. What's the most funny way you've died to a bug so far? I've fallen over and couldn't get up until my ship literally crashed. So getting back into a cutlass through the door, it just fallen over, and part of my body's been outside the physics grid and part of it's in, so I'm just constantly falling over when I try and get up. And then my ship eventually crashed into, I don't know, another ship or something I couldn't really see because I was on the floor. I've seen people suffocate to death from picking up items in habs originally. So like I think this story that one of my mates told me, that he picked up a turtle and for some reason the weight was set too high, so he immediately sort of like collapses, his stamina goes and he just suffocates because he can't get enough blood, oxygen into his blood, and because of the way that system works, it's like he suffocates to death. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, so the Riot Mako is going to be the news van. It's going to have cameras on it. We're not sure what function those cameras can have. We know they've got render to texture tech, which allows them to potentially stream whatever they're viewing, whatever, package it up and send it to somewhere else. Time for tea, Dalamars. I love your face. Thanks very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. So that would potentially allow people to stream events from in-game to somewhere else in-game and maybe make money in the same way you could make money based on viewers, or maybe you could stream it straight to your Twitch channel. We don't know. But some form of gameplay for the news van. Any recent content providers you've come across and that conducted themselves pretty well and you wowed? I mean, I love certain people and content creators like Salty Mike, previously known as Twerk, like Maya, Super Mac Brothers, Bad News Baron, Moist Noodle. There's a huge list of people I love to work with. I mean, Noobifire, and like Salty Mike and Noobifire I consider some of my best friends. Although I haven't really contacted them much recently, but I'm like that. I run away and sort of like I'm a bit of a loner a lot of the time. I think my community will probably see that. Like sometimes I'll be really active, and other times I'll be really inactive, and it's sort of like, where's Bored? So always them. I see that the Eradicator's doing lots of videos daily, and some of which I really like and really enjoy. He's probably my recommendation if you for people doing newer content that is sort of up and coming. It's pretty chill Star Citizen content, reasonably low effort. but in a good way, in the same way I'm pretty low effort. After release, we'll be able to trade in ships for our next bigger ship. Yeah, I believe you'll be able to sell your ships to places like Dumper's Depot. I don't know what percentage trading value we'll get. Probably about to sell them directly to other players. We need to get like a condition percentage of each component, or maybe it's just the hulls we'd sell or whatever. Yeah, some form of markdown, or maybe just selling to another player, you could get near the cost of it. Sale for everyone of Aegis Ship next week after the attendees have theirs, or just exclusive to them? I don't know, Jock Cop, thinking about it. It could be that they get to see the new Aegis project a week early or so, or a little while earlier before we get the sale, but it might be timed around at the same time that we get to see a concept sale and that sort of stuff. I don't 100% know. I would expect that either this weekend or next weekend that we would have a Aegis concept sale, though, of something. I mean, it could be even straight to flyable. Maybe that's why 3.6.x is delayed, because they're waiting for this announcement and then they're going to get it out because it's straight to flyable. I am very hyped for the 890 jump. Oh, thank you for the Twitch Prime subs. Very much appreciated. How do you think stealth docking and landing will going? Let's say you are a slightly less awful person and want to land on a station, or maybe you just want to infiltrate for a mission of fun. Yeah, so you'll be able to... Some ships are going to be able just to hover outside and sort of like hug near other ships and stay near other ships, like the Prowler, for example. It's supposed to be able to get very close to other ships and then people EVA out. So landing on another ship, that's going to be an interesting one, because when you land on that other ship, if you're doing it stealthily, you become part of their physics grids, and technically they might own you. So if you then declared your ship lost, would they get a criminal rating for stealing your ship? There's lots of outliers they need to think about for that. But you will be able to infiltrate other ships. A lot of the boarding is going to be EVA. Some of it's going to be landing in ships, admittedly, as well. Some of it's going to be ship-to-ship docking of other means. Besides the community, what's the best thing about Star Citizen and Squadron 42? The vision. It's for me, it's first person with a huge amount of the mechanics from EVE, and a load of other MMOs and sort of like the first person shootery type things that I like, all put together. The thing that I'm hoping that Chris Roberts can do with Star Citizen is get all these different elements from all the different game genres that I like and put them together and make them all good and make them all work, which is like what he did with Wing Commander. Admittedly, that was a long time ago. The video in the stream is gameplay of Squadron 42. Yeah, Squadron 42 Vertical Slice. A couple of years old now. Do you think drug wars will return? Yes, in the shorter term. I think they'll make a better system, or iterate on the law system and the narcotics and the black market systems, and there will be hotspots for them. That's what we want. We want hotspots of activity where you can potentially make a load of money from smuggling and buying stuff and selling stuff, and it's not going to be too difficult to do that if you're unopposed, but there should be a lot of opposition there, or a lot of other people wanting to do it. Not really a question, it's a statement. I think that the Hornet Tracker is the most underappreciated ship in the game. Change my mind. Yeah, I think it's one of the most underappreciated. Yeah, I think you're probably quite correct with that. It's because we don't know to what extent its advanced scanning and tracking systems will allow. I mean, we know very, very vague amounts of information about how they plan to be able to track ships from quantum sort of like signatures and that sort of stuff. But we need to know more about that, and then we can say, oh, actually, this ship's really amazing and should be part of a wing. What's community is pretty good, but the greater Star Citizen community, not as much. It's different from different communities. That's all it is. You get ingratiating yourself in like a Reddit community is very different from another Reddit community from another Reddit community. I like my community. I think they're the fucking best, but I would, because they're probably more similar to me than other communities are similar to me, typically. And they probably all like me. Woo! Which is always a plus. How can I join the PTU? You can't at the moment. When the PTU is available, so the PTU is a public test universe, the live build is different from that. So you've got the test early builds, which is going to be 3.6.x is going to have a PTU probably very soon. 3.7 will have a Evocardium PTU build very soon. But then it moves on to the live build, which is currently where we are. We're at 3.6.1 live. PTU, you'll get an email when you're able to join PTU, or you can go into the Star Citizen website, click on My Hangar and settings there, and when you see PTU in yellow there that's highlighted, you can click on that and copy your account across. What GPU do you have? Mine is a 1070 Ti. Is that enough? Yes, that is enough. 1070 Ti, 1070 is probably sweet spot for running Star Citizen pretty well. 1070 Ti is beyond that, so yeah, perfect. The other aspect of pay to win that is often completely overlooked is that it won't matter after the first week of release anyway. People will grind to such an extent. Yeah, that is true. There's going to be a lot of people that are able to sink huge amounts of time in it, like I am going to be able to, because effectively covering Star Citizen is my job, so I can do gameplay of it every day, I can do streams of it every day, I can play a lot of Star Citizen. And for some people to be able to compete with that, I think CIG went, well, we can sell currency because that actually enables people to compete with it. That's a rationale for it. I mean, I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's going to be one of the ways they justify it. Following on from your 20 to 30 systems at launch prediction, why is it that you think that ever since they showed off Procedural Planetside Tech, we haven't seen anything implemented? Sorry? What do you mean? We've seen lots of Procedural Planetside Tech implemented, and lots of different biomes, lots of different changes for that. Can you be more specific on your question? Will there be auto-generated in-game newspapers for multiple, like Elite Dangerous has? Okay. There's definitely going to be in-game news stuff. I'm not sure to what extent it will be procedurally generated. It may be entirely so. They're going to have sort of like screens that show off trade information. So they probably could do a procedural system for news that talks about missions and things that's happening in the verse, maybe? Makes sort of sense. Board explanation. More people have Star Citizen than Squadron 42 packages. Squadron 42 is a single-player, more popular, might-be next-generation console already, as per past job listings. Squadron 42 would make bank then, but be paid for already. So Squadron 42 is going to be their first release product, and is going to, when they release that, they shouldn't have to want for money anymore. They still will generate money from concept sales. They're still a capitalist company. Yes, but then they're going to start working on Squadron 42 Episode 2 and Episode 3. Will jump point only work one way? No, I believe they're two-way. There might be some jump points that only work one way, potentially. Oh, ships colliding with each other. No, I don't think they're that small. I think they're just an area that allows your quantum drive to move at jump point speed. That's the way I see them. But unconfirmed. Will CIG develop a kind of mobiGlas remote? No, I don't believe they've talked about that, and they said they want the game to be as tactile as possible and you to interact with things where possible. What consensus? Aegis carrier? Question mark? Oh, I see. For the main title of the thing. There is no real consensus. Some people think it could be Titan suits. Some people think it might be a vehicle, literally something wheeled or tracked. Some people are saying it's the Redeemer. I think it might be an Aegis carrier, although I'd be very happy with an Aegis combat drone corvette or something like that as well. Debbie alone aboard. You have plenty of friends here online that want to hang out. Oh no, I'm aware of that. I'm not being using that as a big head or anything. I am bipolar and sometimes I need my space and like get away from stuff. So I'll like fuck off and watch anime for a while. That's sort of like my chill thing. I can get away from the world when I cook and when I watch things on TV and when I research as well. Like sometimes I just need my space. 200 plus people are listening to me for fun. That is madness. Ugh, a new ship? When do we get a teaser then? Well, we don't 100% know. So the Concierge guys this weekend, they're going to Frankfurt. They get to see it at its earliest possible stage as far as we're aware. So whether that means that we're then going to get a concept sale or a teaser of that on the weekend as well, maybe, or it might be the week after, or it might be even later down the line. But I would expect within, well, be now and next Saturday, us to see a new concept sale. CitizenCon digital packs when? I don't know. They were supposed to go, they're supposed to tell us more about them with the wave 1 of CitizenCon tickets, and now we've actually had the last of the CitizenCon tickets sales. Actually, let's just make sure that the last of the CitizenCon tickets have been sold. CitizenCon. Get your tickets. There are 0 tickets left, yes. So all 1,200 CitizenCon tickets, as far as I'm aware, have now been sold. But I'm not sure when those digital goodies packs are coming. You don't need to buy them. You don't need to buy anything to watch the stream for Star Citizen. You can just watch it. If you want to attend the event, you needed a CitizenCon ticket, though, to actually attend the physical event. But there's also digital goodie packs you can buy that will have little items and trophies and stuff in. Besides the community, what is the best thing? We've already talked about that. Will Jump Point. We already talked about that. Have you tried Rebel Galaxy Outlaw yet? No. Any chance of a video on it? Yes. Potentially a video on it. I haven't tried it out yet. I will try and get around to it. I would say this weekend, but that would be a lie because I'm away. I'll probably watch other people play it. It's more likely. And if I really like the idea of it, I'll grab it. Every time I see a bought YouTuber forcing honey, I die a little inside. They must be throwing money at them. What's honey? What? What are we talking about? When is the Terrapin getting turtle mode? Oh, so the ability to close off its vents and open up its vents. I don't know. I don't actually know at all. I know that the Terrapins plan to be the first ship to have fully physicalized internal components. But I'm hoping that's actually going to be pretty soon. So maybe after that. You still see a crash to desktop every 10 minutes. You've never been able to complete a mission. Every day I hope and pray. That's where I've had one crash in 3.6.1. Yeah, a single crash. That's it. That's when I died as well. Is Squadron 42 going to be space combat FPS shooter only, or will there be other stuff like skills, leveling, crafting and shit? I don't believe it has skills, leveling, crafting and shit at all. So the way I understand it, Squadron 42 is get a character, a little bit of a story, whatever. You are on a carrier typically. You get to walk around the carrier and talk to interact with people. Then you get a briefing for a mission. So you have a pre-briefing, briefing. You then travel to your ship. You get in your ship. You go do the mission, you then come back to your carrier, and then you have the debriefing, and then you go back to interacting with crew and stuff again. Maybe you sleep or whatever to move time on or something like that, or maybe it's just a series of, well, you know, you've got 20 minutes to talk to your crew and stuff and move around the ship because we're traveling to the next destination. But that's the idea. It's supposed to be a military carrier simulation. It's much more on rails than Star Citizen is, which is sort of like open universe. And Squadron 42 is very much sort of like large-scale things that you can do, and there's going to be lots of different plot lines and things you can talk to with the crewmen and stuff, as far as I'm aware. But it's not an entirely open universe, not entirely sandbox or anything. You are in the military. I had some people on my Discord complaining that getting ships in Star Citizen is probably going to be a grind. Yes, some of them definitely. What do they expect? For anything in a player-based economy to have value, it must be worked for. Yes, toil. There's going to be gameplay mechanics that some people hate doing toil on, and some people love. There's going to be like the hauling, maybe Euro Truck Simulator people that are like, fucking love hauling, but other people are like, oh my god. And it's going to be the same for mining. It's going to be like mining in Eve, maybe with the levels of sort of like, well, this is interesting if you like this sort of thing, but I'm going to be watching something while I do this gameplay mechanic. Like a video or something. Will I be able to romance Pacheco? I don't think they're going to be able to have romance in the game because of the nature of it. Because otherwise everyone's character will have effectively romanced Pacheco. Well, actually, no. I'm just talking about Squadron 42. Pacheco's in the Assistant Universe. Maybe you'll be able to flirt with characters. I doubt you'll be able to flirt with any of the major mission givers, though. But slippery slope. I don't know. With only 2 maps that make up Star Marine, will we see the new 890 jump map in 3.6.6, 3.6.x? They mentioned prototyping. I don't know, actually. That's a good one. I'd like to see large I'd like to see Star Marine maps and Arena Commander stuff with the new ships. I think that's a great idea for like having capital ships as levels in Star Marine. Great idea. Smart. So maybe they've been prototyping an 890 jump mission for use in the game at some point. Don't know if that's going to be in 3.6.x. Probably not. Almost certainly not. But maybe it's on a derelict or something. Do you think there really will be a 3.6.x with 3.7 so very close to ETF, difficulty test flight? It's a good question. I literally bring it up and it's the main subject of my video that's going out live in 10 minutes. I mean, spoilers. I think they still will have a 3.6.x. But in the future, I don't expect to see interim patches so much. Maybe it's CitizenCon. I'm trying to mine at the moment, but every time I fracture deposit, do they go through the planet? Try mining in space. Yeah, it's a known bug in 3.6.1 that they were supposed to have fixed, where the minables fall through the planet or moon. Will CIG always need money? Sort of, yes. They're a company that want to continue to work on Star Citizen. One of the ways they want to do that. So after Squadron 42 is released, so episode 1, 2, and 3 all successful, whatever. After Star Citizen is released, great. They'll still want to generate money by selling game packages, by selling in-game currency, by selling whatever else is sensible for them to sell. They're a capitalist business, yes. Hopefully they never get to the level of evil game publisher. Hopefully. Don't think it will cost less than the ticket to the event costs. I would be pissed, hence probably capital ship. Oh no, so the idea of the Concierge event is, I mean, I'm not even, maybe they will get the free version of the capital ship or whatever Aegis Project thing it is, maybe they will get a free one. But the idea is they're going there for dinner with Chris Roberts, a little intimate Q&A, a chat. It'll be a cool thing, drinks and things like that. They'll be treated pretty well. A glorified office tour for me. Making money is evil, right? Question mark. I am, to a degree, a capitalist. I'm very sort of like on board with capitalism. But that's because I want to work to a degree where I'm comfortable and enjoy myself and can relax. But no more than that. And if people want to work harder, fucking give them that. Old money, that's a whole different question. And classism, that's a whole different thing. Clarification on my procedural content question, I meant why are they not seeing the beginnings of new systems being generated with procedural content, planets, moons, outposts, and missions? Oh, I'm expecting we start to see that quite soon. I think they wanted to get the Stanton system done first before anything else, but we need, realistically, we need server meshing to be in before they can support multiple systems. Server meshing allows them to transfer data between servers seamlessly, effectively, and share that data. And without that, we're bound to a server running the entire instance of an area. So the entire Stanton system is run by a single server. That's madness. And you couldn't have two star systems controlled by a single server. That would be extra madness. Double madness. So it's mainly because of server meshing, which is being worked on at the moment. And even with static server meshing, they could get multiple systems out as far as I'm aware. $1,200 is about half of last year. No, any reason given? I'm actually not sure how many tickets they sold last year. The venue they've got is in the UK, and it's 1,200 capacity, I believe, for what they want. So I suspect they are focusing a big amount on the actual live stream rather than the event itself. Well, there'll be both, but there'll be lots of stuff for people to do there. What anime are you watching recently? I haven't actually watched Finland Saga yet, but I probably will. So I've been watching, what are any of these called? Brietta? Whatever the fuck it's called. About lots of isekais, always. Dude, crappy dude gets transported to another world with his class and gets his arm eaten off by a polar bear. then finds a vampire girl. What else am I watching? Vampire, a Demon Hunter-y one, Accelerator, the Fire Academy or whatever it's called. Dr. Stone's pretty good. Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in Dungeon Season 2? Mao Summer retry. Isekai Cheat Magician. I'm watching lots of fucking random ones. I typically watch a big bunch of random anime. I like my favourites are sort of like ReZero and things like that. One Punch Man. Even Season 2 I quite enjoyed. Not as much as Season 1, but... When user-controlled NPCs come online, do you think players will be able to have those NPCs fly ships and perform money-making tasks? So, to an extent. So they've previously said that the plans are they don't want players to be entirely remote in all sort of operations, so they could just sit in a bar and an NPC could do it all for them. They could get players to do it for them and run an empire like that, but they shouldn't be able to have NPCs just do all tasks for them constantly and make money from that. So maybe not. We don't know until it's sort of like more discussed by CIG. Yeah, I've had very few crashes in one crash in 3.6.1 I can remember. All planets have orbits in the future. Yes, that is the plan. And they've got the they're doing stuff with splines so that as stuff's moving around, your quantum travel destinations will move with them, I believe. So moons will orbit planets and planets will orbit the sun. Have CIG said anything about adding Aeon and Epoch club t-shirts into the game? I think it should be fairly simple. Are you talking about the... Yeah, I don't know when they're coming. You're talking about the 1 and 2 million subs, is that them? Any word on various mechanics like tractor beams, ship repair, salvage? So salvage is supposed to be coming in 3.8. We know that. And they haven't really talked much about what implementations we're going to be getting of the other stuff when they come in. I would expect to see most of that stuff, probably all of it, in by next year to some degree, even tractor beams. Salvage is going to be pretty simple in its first iteration. It's going to be mining of ships' hulls in a similar way to probably the mining mechanics we have in game now, but then it's going to be expanded on. Haven't you found skill with Trump money? I've toasted players in... What? Question. Haven't you found skill with Trump money? I've toasted players in more expensive ships with a cheaper ship, so it's really pay to win. What? Do you anticipate server-side object data streaming being a major tech dev hurdle? No, apparently they've been internal testing it, so I don't think it's much of a hurdle. So, the original object container streaming stuff was, and server meshing probably is maybe not a hurdle, but time intensive. I think they're pretty happy they can get it all done. Unregulated capitalism is evil. Yes, it certainly can be. I mean, people are idiots. That's why I see that. I do think there has to be some regulation with it to some extent, but that's a whole conversation for another time. I mean, DC talk about this a lot. He's really pro-regulation, but anti-authoritarian, and I'm very anti-authoritarian as well. But again, you need authoritarianism to a degree for regulation of companies from the government. It's a complicated subject. Did you get to watch Zim? Yes, Enter the Florpus. I watched it yesterday. I thought it was pretty good. I love Medizim. Hey Bored, long time without seeing Chris or Sandy in any video. Also, where is Ben Lesnick's? You should see Chris and Sandy, or Chris or Sandy, or Chris at least, in Pillar Talk, probably in the next few weeks. Ben Lesnick, I believe, works from home. He does some stuff with Jump Point. He had a problem with his eyes, and I believe he is largely or more blind, or he has a big problem with his eyes, which is why he stopped working from the studio. Do you have a My Anime List profile so I can see if you have any recommendations? No, I don't, but I will set one up at some point. One of the 30 animes I've watched, ReZero's at the top. I like Overlord as well, and No Game No Life. I see No Game No Life is probably one of my top ones. Fuck. So I kind of like the way Eve does some of the capital ship stuff. Like later, those big ships, they can't be used outside of 0 sec. So I appreciate the love, Professor Clutch, trying to flash mob my like button. Where is Trump money? What? What are you talking about? What is Trump? What is, I don't know. Old, I think maybe he means old money. Is that a rough term for old money? So many tentacles in this my anime list. Oh god. It's just furries and tentacles. I won't anime shame you, don't you worry. So when do you really think we're going to get true persistence? I mean, is it possible that we get true persistence shortly after Crusader 3 systems is kind of enough for true persistence to work, right? Yeah, I think that is honestly something that they could probably next year get full persistence, true persistence in. I think we might see in the shorter term them get server-side object container streaming in and full persistence to an extent where they can go, well, we don't need to reset the databases every major patch anymore. And then eventually, hopefully next year, maybe the year after, based on their needs, they'd go, actually now we're switching over to UEC. And persistence is going to remain. But it depends. That might be vastly over-optimistic based on them going, well, actually, no, the economy is going to change so much and people are going to exploit stuff before that, so that we have to stay on Alpha UEC and do a big reset before live or before beta. So we don't know. It's a long way of saying I don't know. Any word on when Evacari will play with the 890 jump? I mean, it could be as early as this weekend, I suppose. But no, I haven't heard anything. So when do you... That's what we talked about. Blah, blah, blah. Did you see these pics, Bored? Not sending me dick pics, is he? Because yes, I have seen them. What? What pics? I don't know what pics you're talking about. The problem. Feel free to PM me them somehow. Discord them to me. But maybe he's looking at these pictures. So there was on Reddit the other day, there was someone saying, oh, this is online as a test art for something that was made for Star Citizen, and it says Aegis over here, so like an Aegis capital ship command bridge, but this was apparently just test art, though it might be being used in the game. Maybe it is something to do with the Aegis announcement coming next weekend, but it could just be literally test art and concepting and trying stuff out. Oh, hey you beautiful bald bastard. Get yourself a drink. Question, any idea when exploration and science will be added to the game? So, no. So, exploration's going to keep on evolving from patch to patch to patch, and it's sort of like going to be a load of different mechanics all sort of blended together, including being able to save locations, being able to scan things down, being able to find points of interest, being able to share that information to other people, the procedural generation systems behind events and behind generating sort of like areas on the outskirts of systems and between systems, and then having all those events lead to potentially other events and other missions. That's all going to be part of exploration, including I suppose, finding other wormholes and new things, new planets potentially, new systems, whatever. But it's all sort of like an iterative process slowly. And science sort of crosses over into exploration as well, but most of the science components and gameplay beyond just missions, which have science elements, they're probably a while further out. But they could also include farming as well, and like collection of scanning and collection of plants and animals and things like that as well. You could see as science, but we're supposed to be able to create compounds and drugs and crunch data and things with science as well, and farm and use the Endeavour to a huge range of activities, and overclock items, so not just overclocking temporarily but permanently overclocking something so that it is slightly better than previous. When will CIG switch to Vulkan integration? So Vulkan integration, if you read in the latest monthly report, they've been actually building some of the backbone so that they can get Vulkan integration and other graphics APIs and stuff like that in if they want to. Vulkan is the main one they've been talking about and would make the game incredibly hardware neutral, which is fucking superb. So I would expect they want to get that in for the end of the year, because, or at least by the middle of next year, because they need it for Squadron 42's release. Do existing capital ships have interdiction capabilities? No, so we don't know how ships are going to interdict in the future. So at the moment, individual pirate ships and NPC pirates and NPC security forces, some of the ships there interdict. They have like pulse. So we're not sure if that's going to be an item that gets deployed, or a module on a ship, or the system on a ship that causes that. But there's going to be some way of interdicting. I mean, it could be an Aegis interdiction ship, for all we know. Making sure there's nothing. Okay, that's good. Good. Isn't time they bring back the drug wars in the short term? Yes, I would love them to make some areas very profitable and easily accessible, so that ships go, well, the best way of making money is just to keep on running this smuggling trade route. There's some risk that the security forces might find me, and that other players might scan me and take me down. Yeah, I love that idea. Pete Sampras. Actually, I think Ben Lessig is no longer with the project and has been banned from discussing it as per an NDA. If you look at his Twitter, he hasn't said a single thing since leaving, posts regularly. It could also be that he's got problems with his eyes. I thought he was still involved with Jump Point, but I will try and find out, Pete. As far as I was aware, that he was just sort of like not fit to work particularly well. But he may no longer be on the project at all. He may have like extended leave, or may have been may have left. That is also a possibility. I would like to see narcotics wars and hotspots, yes, in the short term. With the Aegis event, will they make it an in-game expo like last time? I don't believe so, no. The Aegis event is for Concierge people going to Frankfurt, and we may get to see either that weekend or the weekend after. The people that aren't going may be able to see like a concept sale or whatever the Aegis project is. On November 23rd, CitizenCon and the expo, I suspect there will be an in-game expo for then, yes. Do you think colonizing ocean planets could be a thing? You might see a major landing zone that has a colonized ocean, or like an ocean lab or something. Do you often get called an optimist? Sometimes. I'm sort of like, I am bipolar, so probably about 50% of the time. Hello, what about nav systems like compass, or even divination of sending the North Pole on a certain point of a planet or moon? There are going to be more ways of navigating. They're working out what those are going to be. Maybe it will be compasses, maybe it will be a coordinate system, maybe it will just be saving things, maybe it will be full-on maps. Well, we know that they've got planned 3D maps of areas and being able to roll down all the way onto the ground from space, but I'm positive except when I'm not. Thanks, Stellamas. That is true. What's the difference with regards to the server system that Dual Universe uses and Star Citizen? Same in theory? I don't know. I need to research Dual Universe more. Once Squadron 42 is fully released, do you think we'll see patches with more content than we're currently getting per patch? Yes. What did you look like with top hair? I will dig out a picture of me with a mohawk at some point for you. Bear with me, actually. Bear with me. Rawr! So fucking bear with me! No, see. See if I can find a picture. Oh my god. I'm hideous. Oh, I'm beautiful. Here's me pretending to kiss a man. My mate Ian. I need to roll in more, otherwise you're going to see... I can just save this picture. Might be fine. What else we got? Shit. Oh my god, I used to look so pretty. Here you go. Is this what you wanted? Me pretending to kiss a guy when posing on camera? That's pretending! It's pretending. Yeah? What I look like with hair? And see, I don't do anything for you. Is that a personal soundtrack you're playing? Can you link it? It's Pedro's music. I play Pedro's music throughout, and it's actually a Star Citizen soundtrack that's available in this persistent universe. For the most part, some of the more extended versions of it. And this is the link to that, and the actual one I'm playing. Chief Monkey compiled them, because he's a legend. Do you think climbing or rappelling will ever be a thing? Climbing to some extent, yeah. Because they could just, you know, have it effectively like ladders. Rappelling, maybe. You could just have it as, like, again, like a ladder, but a ropey ladder. It's a rope. What else have we got here? I mean, I can't wait for the game to be done as well. Well, I'm going to literally have to wait. Oh, people are sending me money. I love your money. Bored, you are the best. And then he sent me some knock. I'm still not sure what knock is. I think it's money. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, Thomas Smith. Love your face. Dave Anderson, did you play pre 2.0? If you did, if so, do you like older flight combat models? 2.6.3 was probably my favourite that I can remember. And yes, I did. I played since the hangar module was a thing. And I quite liked Vandal Swarm when it came out. But 2.6.3 is probably my favourite. I can't really remember pre 2.0, to be honest. Thank you very much for the donation, though. I fucking love your face. Very much appreciated, Dave. Do you think they will sell penthouse apartments for cash? I don't know. I'm hoping not, because that will cause the media and rage bait content creators to talk a load about it. I'm hoping that they just go, these are available in-game, for in-game money only. I have an apple. I have a pen. Apple pen. What are we doing, Dave? What's going on? Do you think Squadron 42 will be released on Steam? No. I think it will be on their own platform only. Although, they'd probably make a lot more money if it was on Steam. Is that a personal stat? I've already talked about that. Climbing and rappelling, already talked about that. Norwegian Crones. I think so, actually someone's already told me that previously. I've just, you know, chosen to remove it from my brain for some reason. Thank you very much, Jock. And thank you very much for the money. Pretending. Hi, Board. Thanks for all the great content and getting me into Star Citizen. Can you help me? I don't know if I should buy a Caterpillar. Buy it in game. Just buy it in game. Don't spend real money on it. Get a better computer. Get yourself some drinks. Have a takeaway. Did they reveal the new ship? No. We're not even 100% sure it's going to be a new ship, to be honest. It could be a vehicle. It could be something else. It's an Aegis project. Well, I'm expecting it to be an Aegis carrier, capital class ship of some description. Potentially a civilian carrier to compete with the Kraken. But it could also be a ground vehicle. It could also be... I'd like it to be a drone sort of combat ship. That'd be cool. Hi, Board. Thank you for all the great content and getting me into Star Citizen. Can you help me? I don't know if I should buy a Caterpillar. That's what I just read that. I read it again for some reason. Thank you very much for the DKK. Still no news on fauna implementation? No, not really. We know that there are going to be animals in game. We've seen some concept of animals. We've seen some sort of like faked animals with the oni crabs and the sandworm, but we know that they still plan to be on in the game. Lear 3 is going to have the sandworm. Hurston should have the oni crabs, whatever the fuck they're called. But we should see animals around the verse, some of which will be used for missions, some will be used for, you know, potentially pets, some will be dangerous. You've touched on pay to win a couple of times today. I think one thing people are overlooking is the factioning reputation that will eventually go in and be required to get certain ships. Yeah, I mean, you're about to buy stuff off other people. I think that there will be rep system to a certain degree with certain things to be able to get access to certain things more easily anyway. I still think there will be a way to get pretty much everything in the game, even if it's just from player economy or expensive sources. Maybe it's the Aegis Corvette. An Aegis Corvette would be cool. Vanguard will change hardpoint or change more firepower. So you're going to be able to change the nose guns on it to other sets of nose guns that they're building for the Vanguards. That's for sure. Rep is nothing, really, if you have an ult. But reputation could be built up with different factions. That's what they're talking about. So rep is something if you have to build it up with particular factions. So yeah, you can have an ult that doesn't have a negative rep with someone else, but it would still need to have a positive rep with someone else to have an advantage. Do you see what I mean? So you'd still have to build that up. Pets, we need pets. Yeah, pets would be cool. Maybe. I'm not sure if I want combat pets or anything like that. But yeah, maybe some pets. Maybe I'll be able to capture animals. That would be pretty cool. I'm a Concierge backer and I agree with you, Board. Perfect. Buy ships in-game and spend real money on your PC or interwebs connection. Pay your rent and utilities first, lol. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You don't need to back the game at all. If you want to back the project or whatever, then I suggest getting a starter package, potentially upgrading it to an Avenger Titan, but anything more than that, If you've got the spare disposable income and you love a ship, fuck it, why not? If you want to back the project to a huge level, why not? But you're not going to get this huge amount of perks for that. You're going to be able to get all that stuff in-game anyway, so just be aware of that. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do with their money. Give it to me. But other than that, thanks. Starting YouTube videos. Quick tip, please. Do you caption before you publish or after you get them out to save time? I auto-caption them. YouTube just does it. Auto-caption. Which is sometimes where it thinks I've said shit rather than ship. And a lot of my videos get partly demonetized. Maybe I shouldn't talk so quickly. I'm sorry for typing the same thing 2 times. I wanted to donate the first time. Feel free to... if there's a way for me to reverse the second one, I will... I'll try and do that. I don't know how to. I love you. Thank you. You're the best. Oh no, that's fine. No, I got myself really confused. No worries, David. Mr. Eric. No worries at all. Do I have any more questions? Do anyone want to talk about anything else? Starter package videos, great, man, good stuff. It's very low effort. All my gameplay, or a large percentage of my gameplay, at least until I get Zinnia working for me, doing editing, is going to be pretty low effort. I will get involved with some other organisations doing some sort of like larger mission gameplay and that sort of thing, and using the BoredGamer org much more regularly. I've been starting to use it a bit, but it's sort of like not really the BoredGamer org, it's more sort of like whoever's around in Discord at the time. Auto caption doesn't work for me, Scottish accent. Ah, man. I didn't even think about it. Let's see who else is around. Is anyone streaming? Which... I'm supporting the project, but I don't have a ton of spare income. So I save cash back from my credit card until I have enough money for my next ship. I just get most of the stuff in game would be my suggestion. I mean, as I said, do what you want with your monies, Matt T. But starting a fund for computer parts, in my opinion, is a better idea. But if you love the game and it's sort of like your main focus as a hobby and for gaming, then yeah, fuck it, do what you want, mate. More power to you. Any good small Star Citizen YouTubers you recommend checking out? Salty Mike, when he creates videos, previously known as Twerk. Super Mac Brothers, Eradicator, Noobifire. I mean, he's not particularly small anymore, Noobifire. Those are ones I pretty much like. Maya when he does videos. What's Thingamajig's name? You see loads of content, but I haven't seen it for a while. One second. I'm gonna type in. Uses all my naming schemes, but I like his stuff. Subliminal. Subliminal's very good. Typically, he's very active around when a new patch is released and sort of like doing buyer's guides and stuff like that. Similar content to me, but it's a different perspective. Why not watch it if you're interested? Cashback is free money. How many hours of grind do you expect to earn a Battle Merchantman? A lot. Couple of months of regular-ish play, sort of thing. Sort of thing I'd expect. You were just focusing on trying to earn that. Probably more. Probably like a couple of months with a small group trying to work towards it, thinking about it. Some of these ships are going to be really expensive, and that's got alien tax and rarity tax on it, basically. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate the love. Appreciate it. Thanks, Blackbird and everyone else. Enjoy the channel. Thanks, Dave. New to Alva, thanks for the vids. Wondering how long bugs like the boxes falling through the ship last. Kind of suck. It's erratic. Sometimes they fix it, sometimes things like that come back, sometimes new bugs come along. Expect next year to be a significant sort of like step forward with Star Citizen's core mechanics and things like that. I think they're trying to get Squadron 42 focused on and out the door, and then there's a lot more of that tech that will be coming over, and a lot more of the core and the basics of the game will be solid. At least that's the plan. So you're going to have a lot of erratic bugs until then. I haven't seen Demo Man stuff for a while. I'll check them out again. You know what sort of current CPU will play Squadron 42? 4th gen i5 or 7 onwards should play it pretty well. I'm not sure about the AMD processors, but any of the 1st or 2nd gen Ryzens shouldn't have much problem with it. It's going to have Vulkan support at some point, and it's going to be very scalable to multiple threads. Love you and your content, including the approach board. Have a good evening. Thank you very much, Matty. I think I'm relatively low effort, but I quite like it quite raw. I wonder if we get night vision or technology to look in the dark and rough conditions. I think they've talked about that and said that they did want some sort of night vision. Potentially it would be scopes on guns and stuff like that. You'd be able to buy modules for things to be able to see in night vision. Hey, what's that running in the background? Well, the music's Pedro's music from in-game. And the stuff that's running in the background is Squadron 42's Vertical Slice. That is on gaining A1 in a sort of like smuggler slash people traffickers base. Slaver base. So yeah, from the Squadron 42 vertical slice. Right. Let's see who else is around, if anyone. What would you guys like me to host? Would you like someone that's probably pretty fucking good? Or a totally new person? That's basically what I'm trying to say. Totally new streamer, or not a totally new streamer? Looking forward to having this weekend off. So on Friday to Tuesday morning, I'm going up to my mates for a private LAN. And sort of like gaming, board games stuff. I will be discussing some work, admittedly. I will try and stream from there. I'm not sure if the DC is very, very sort of like self-conscious about security and that sort of stuff, so he might not want me to stream randomly walking around his house and kitchen. So I might have to find somewhere else to duck off to use my GoPro. But I do want to test out the GoPro there and try and get like it streamed on Twitter or whatever, Periscope, or maybe I'll be able to live stream straight to Twitch from it or something. We'll see. We'll work that out. It might not be the best stream in the world. It might just be like, oh, how do I get this work? Oh, God. New streamer. Cool. I will find a streamer that has a face and that is English talking. Oh no, you're getting an in between. You're getting an in between. You're getting Moist Noodle. I love Moist Noodle. He's one of my faves. And he says new home. It's gonna be. He's doing 3.6.1. I love Moist Noodle. I should hopefully see him at CitizenCon. He's new enough. I couldn't see anyone else with a face there. You're getting him. It's only got 11. What's in DC? No, it's the Deathcore. This is my mate that I play games with regularly that you'll see on the channel sometimes. Love you guys. Bam. Thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. Fucking love you. You take care. And see you soon. Oh, and new video must have just come out. Or come out half an hour ago. Oh, fuck. Watch that. Thanks, guys.